I'm unable to stay in the moment at that point. Then I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's not you. It's me. I can't
Oh
do this.
my god.
Turn that shit up, got my diamonds dancing. Brought a bitch up, she another groupie banging. Got the whip up, phones, yeah, we living lavish.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another official episode of the I May Regret This podcast. I'm your host, Kunal Bergotra, joined by your co-host, Daniel
I really thought you were going to say host.
Hatchikayan. Wait,
Yeah.
did I not say host?
No, you said co-host.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Wait.
That was just bleeding out of you without even
I thought I
doing it
said
on
host.
purpose.
I'm so sorry. Your host, Daniel H. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Coming to you live from brand new fancy ass mics. Pretty
Uh-huh.
proud of, and I'm not
Mhm.
proud of the makeshift pop filter I had to make from a coat hanger that I took from my closet and then destroyed, and my mom's old socket pantyhose thing that I wrapped around it.
Right.
So I feel like a loser. How do you feel?
Mhm. So to anyone who heard that might have not sounded like a subtle attack, but I don't care. I'm going to let them into our beef here, Daniel. We
course.
ordered these. I sent you these microphones and we decided to order them. And after I had ordered them, Daniel said, oh, maybe we should get pop filters too. First of all, I already have one, so that would be an unnecessary purchase for me. But second of all, I was like, okay, well, I assumed that he would just be able to go on Amazon himself, find a pop filter he wanted, and send them to my house.
You assume, right?
So
Assuming
sorry.
makes an ass out of you
And
you.
so wrong for so many reasons. But allow me to continue.
Look, how do you spell assume, right? ASSU.
Oh God, dude,
You're an ass.
there's a bigger issue here. I don't care about you calling me an ass anymore. You can't spell, man.
I don't need to spell to talk, right? I have a podcast.
Anyways, regardless, Daniel is not independent, apparently needs me to order everything for him, so that's why he has a makeshift pop filter, and I know that's why you said it, so I hope you're happy that we addressed that.
Of course I'm not happy.
So, sorry, Daniel, you and I have rambled on, and we have not yet introduced our guest.
Oh,
Ladies and
my
gentlemen,
God.
I'm so sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest today is, drumroll please, absolutely fucking no one.
Jesus.
Fuck the guest. Fuck the podcast. It's just me and my friend kicking back and having a good old conversation together. What do you think about that, pal?
Let's do it. I mean, you're being a bit aggressive, but yeah, I'm down to kick back. Just have a chill episode.
I probably.
Well, what do you think of our journey so far? Uploading these, like, how do the first few episodes been for you?
Yeah, actually, now as good a time as any to talk about that. So pretty much, I think at the time of anyone listening to this right now, we have probably uploaded 4, and we've recorded probably 8-ish, 9-ish.
Yeah.
And so for me,
well, I mean, if you count all the ones that were terrible, probably like 20.
Yeah. So for me, I think first of all, I definitely feel like we've gotten a lot more comfortable as we've went along with this.
Yeah, for sure.
Talking in front of a microphone, like I feel like it was definitely a bit of a transition because you try to really not think about it. But for those first few episodes that you're ever doing this, it's like, oh, well, no, but I can't think nothing of it. I'm talking into a microphone. People are going to hear this, so that kind of controls your mindset a little bit.
There's like a weird virtual stage fright that I feel like I'm kind of over now, which is awesome.
Yeah. And for me, I don't even think it was even stage fright as much as it was just like, okay, all the lights are on you right now. So just don't try to be a little more impressive than your average self. You know what I mean? Like there was definitely that mindset.
Bring something else to the table. I think that's what totally this experience has been like. Is one, it was like one part actually just putting ourselves out there and seeing what people think, but also like just hearing yourself. I know for me, I was like, oh my God, I didn't know I sounded so like I just like didn't even come out of the conversation. I just like sunk in and, I wasn't really like heard much. I guess that's just kind of how I naturally am. So I was like, oh, you know what? I put it on myself to kind of sound a bit different. And I am totally cringing at how much, I swear in regular conversation, how much I say how much I say,
that's a big one for me.
All that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of just brought all that stuff to light. And now it's something I can work on and get better at, hopefully.
Definitely.
So that part has been great. But you know what? That's how I know we're doing a good thing here is that like even after like 1 or 2 episodes that we just record, I'm like cringing at them, and I'm like, oh my god, that was so bad. But that's how I know we're improving, because we're at like a better place
100%.
where we can critique what we just did, right?
100%.
Awesome.
That's kind of what I was going to allude to as well. Is like at this point, it just really feels like, again, I'm sitting down and having a normal conversation with my friends. Like there's no microphone or anything. The only difference is there's a virtual person in the room and Craig watching us. But aside from that, nothing feels like out of the ordinary. I feel way more just settled in at this point. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I think that another thing that I've kind of noticed is, I think you and I have both kind of felt in the early stages in some episodes that are going to be lost and never seen again. And even a couple recent ones too. We've had some episodes where we've had a guest come on, and you and I we did some preparation, but we never took it to the extent that we should have. And in doing that, we almost put too much pressure on the guest a little bit, and might have made it, it might have led to some awkward situations during the episode.
Like, can you come guest on our show and then also like come up with the idea and make it entertaining? So hey, that's what we brought to the table.
Great opportunity. Come on our show and do everything. I'll push record and then I'll let you know when we're done. All right, great.
Yeah.
So I think, again, to our credit, and we might be wrong, but I think to our credit, as of recent, we've been a lot better with that. In some of the more recent episodes we've recorded, with coming prepared, knowing what we're going to talk about, taking the pressure off the guest, and you know what I mean? Trying to make it a bit more of a not even welcoming, just an environment where it's like, okay, I can literally go there and just be relaxed. As a guest, go there, be relaxed, not worry about having to do like X, Y, and Z, and have a good time overall. I feel like initially we might have been forcing that a bit too much.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I just want to say to anyone that's taken the time to listen or reached out to us, especially, and given us any feedback, positive or negative, has really like meant a lot to us.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm not necessarily doing this to grow it and make it huge or anything, but it does mean a lot that people take the time to listen to it and actually get some sort of enjoyment out of it. It is kind of weird now that we're actually doing this, and it's not kind of just some weird pipe dream, that there are actual people listening and kind of have an expectation to be entertained in a way. Right. And now it's very strange. It's almost like, oh, now I don't know what to do here, because before there was no risk and we could kind of just talk about anything and I didn't really care, but now it's like everything has to be kind of curated and I don't really know what we need to be doing here.
And it's very real now, because we had recorded so many episodes that were just garbage. So it was like, first it was just kind of talking about doing a podcast.
Yeah, these are actually coming out.
Right. At first it was like, okay, well, we talked about doing it for a while. Then we actually finally started doing it, and that felt like an experience of its own. But so many of those episodes were not edited, not recorded well enough, had to be deleted. We had to reschedule some things. Trying to record in the initial phases was tough too. So it never really sunk in that this was a real thing that was happening. And now they're being put out. And yeah, quickly, agreed, 100%. Thank you, first of all, to everyone who's come on the show. But so many more people than I had anticipated are messaging either you and I individually or both of us on the Instagram, imrt.podcast on Instagram, and giving us their feedback on the episodes, telling us what they thought, giving us honest feedback about what they think we can improve on, which we love that, and are going to continue to encourage that, because it only helps us at the end of the day. But also, an overwhelming amount of people at this point now are kind of in what we call like the quote unquote queue of like potential guests to come on the show, because to our surprise, a lot of people started reaching out and saying that they wanted to come on. And it's those tiny little things, which first of all are not even tiny to me at all. Like that's pretty astronomical that someone took actual time out of their day to A, listen, B, respond, and then C, ask to come on. Things like that are pretty much the biggest amounts of satisfaction that we can get out of doing this. So a huge thank you to everyone who's taken that time to reach out to us and really just convey your overall thoughts and feedback for us.
Yeah, and it really means a lot too, because I don't know what it seems like, but Kanal and I know firsthand that this actually takes a ton of work. Like we worked really hard on this stuff to get this out to this point. Hopefully the work kind of goes down and we can kind of just streamline this. But yeah, it's taken a lot just to get it on the ground and make it available and make it like to the quality that we'd like it to be. So
right,
the feedback really is really appreciated.
100%. And so on that note, also, I just want to quickly shout out the fact that for one, there's been a couple changes. So we're no longer putting this on Daniel's website. We decided to go out and join forces with Podbean, which is where we will now, which is exactly where we will now be hosting our podcast. So you can find us on Podbean. We are on YouTube now at IMRT Podcast, all one word. So we're on YouTube now as well. And then we're still coming to Spotify and Apple Podcasts every week. So that's the only part that hasn't changed. And I just wanted to call that out because there had been some shuffling deciding kind of what we were going to do. But this seems to now be the official, well, it better be the official thing because we kind of locked into a commitment now. But this seems to be kind of the 4 places 100% where we plan on being for the foreseeable future. So that's YouTube, once again, YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So just wanted to quickly call that out. In terms of kind of what we were going to do today, I did want to kind of stick around for a little bit longer for this. I guess we're kind of just reflecting on how things have been. But also, I got a lot of questions for you, my friend, today. We got some listener questions.
I'm really excited about this. The last little question thing we did. For Sid's episode, I brought the questions to the table, but now I don't know any of these, so I'm especially excited for this.
So Daniel's going to be going in on the dark here. I went out onto our Instagram and asked for some questions this past weekend, and dear God, I was not expecting this many. Like I was replying as they came in, like, yeah, let's go. Like I'll do this, and then like at a certain point, I was like, oh no, I can't do all of these. So we're going to try and burn through all of them here. But if not, we can always come back to them in a future episode when we do this again, when Daniel's going to be going in dark. So without further ado,
utilize it in some way. It could be part of a sort of new segment we have
in that segment, right? Right. In that segment we've been kind of putting together. So real quick now, before we jump into these questions, I had one more question for you since you kind of already asked me one. They're up at the top. I want to know what your up till now, because we talk every week, but I'm genuinely curious as to what your favorite parts of what we have been doing so far, like has been for you, like whether it's just like, the actual recording part, the editing, the whole putting together like art and all that, which has been fucking amazing. And people seem to be really enjoying that. Like, what has been your favorite part about all of this?
I really like doing this. I really wanted to do the entire thing and get good at everything. So doing all the artwork, getting set up on all the socials, like becoming better at being an audio engineer of sorts. So just developing those skills and has been really great. But I think it's just awesome that what I've been trying to do in my life as of late is just turn all of my like interests into like long-term hobbies that I can keep going for a long time. So I feel like this is just one of those things where it's the first time, or one of the first times, that I took kind of like a far-fetched interest, or like a sort of like a pipe dream idea, and kind of like made it into reality. And it's pretty awesome. And now I have something to look forward to every week. And actually just the recording sessions themselves are really fun, and we just get to do whatever we want and talk to friends and make them literally force them to have conversations with us about whatever we want. It's just I just think it's fun to have something to look forward to every week now.
Hell yeah. And also I am curious, so once again, as you're sending along your feedback, I would be curious to know, for anyone who's listening to this, how you feel about Daniel and I kind of switching it up every now and then and just kicking back and doing one of these one-on-one episodes where there's no guest and it's just him and I talking. I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are about that, because this is something that we definitely
hate this.
Exactly what I'm saying. This is definitely something that we enjoy doing, but for all we know, you saw the fact that we didn't have a guest on, or up at the top you heard me say fuck the guest, there is no guest, and you clicked off.
Yeah, I don't know how easy it'd be to get another guest after that.
Yeah, I might have really shot myself in the foot with that one.
We just have to get one that doesn't listen to the show at all.
Yeah. Well, that'll be tough. But great. So
I get my mom. You need to come on.
Sorry. Say that one more time.
I was just gonna say, like I probably have a few people in.
You sounded like you shouted someone out in specific there. I was just curious. It sounded like you said someone in specific there. I think I heard you say.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it might be like a setting on the new mic or something.
I think I heard you say mommy.
Who?
Let's. You became so insecure so quickly when I asked you to repeat yourself. Okay. Well, are you cool?
I don't call her that. I call her my mother. The birth of the birth mother of me. I would never call her mommy. That's just stupid.
I never asked you to explain yourself, so you don't. It kind of sounds like you're working off a guilty conscience here. I never asked you to explain yourself. That's cool. Even if you do.
Move on. Sorry, let's move on.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to the listener questions at this point. I'll start us off with some quick ones. So the first one we got. For now, I'm going to continue to just leave all of these as anonymous submissions. If you're submitting a question in the future and you want us to specifically call your name out, just
please provide your SIN number to us, and we'll say that on the show.
Right, exactly, because that's it's this podcast.
Because how else do we know their identity, right?
Right. I mean, how do we know someone didn't pick up your phone and sent that message from your account?
Exactly.
So as long as you can provide us with your SIN number and credit card information, we're good to go. So Daniel, question number 1, pretty simple, nothing crazy. Top 3 beers.
Top 3 beers. Oh, this is gonna sound really boring, but I feel like I like all the light ones. Okay. I feel like maybe Guinness could come number 4, just so I don't sound really boring. But I'd probably go like number 3 would be the Sleeman, the cream ale, and then Moosehead, and then Amsterdam Blonde is like my go-to treat myself type of beer.
Interesting. Okay.
What about you?
Mine would be probably number 1 is Coors, number 2 is Stella, and then I think for number 3, I was drinking Kronenberg a lot, like the kind of like fruity one.
Oh, I have a bad experience with that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, okay, wait. Here's what's happened. I went to a bar with my friends, and we were playing pool and everything, and someone had the idea to get Kronenberg, and it was like this very like fruity beer. It tastes a lot like orange peel to me now. So we got a picture of that, and none of the other guys really liked it. So I just ended up drinking the whole thing by myself, and I was like, okay, whatever. I'm kind of done. So then we went to get another pitcher. I'm like, okay, don't get Kronenberg again. Let's get something else. And then my friend went up. I'm not gonna say who it is, but he knows who he is. Went up and got the same beer by accident somehow, and brought it back. And then both of my friends that were drinking with me wouldn't drink it. So then I drank the entire thing again that night because I was like, well, I'm not gonna waste it. And then that night I walked all the way home, just listening to some tunes, dancing by myself. And then when I got home, I made sure not to wake my parents up, and I fell asleep in the bathtub because I felt so sick. I didn't want to leave.
No way! How was the next morning? Did anyone like kind of walk in on you in the bathroom? In the bathtub, like okay, so many questions.
I don't think so. I wonder if maybe I woke up and just went back slyly to my own bed.
Right. Dear God.
And so Kronenberg wouldn't exactly be in my top 5 after that night.
Yeah, if it's not Kronenberg, and number 3 it'd probably be Moosehead.
Agree on that one.
So,
all right, next one.
Yeah, that was a quick one. So this one is a quick one that I got for you. It's a personal question.
For me specifically.
For you specifically. How are Daniel's backflips coming along?
Backflips? Oh, shit. Someone's really putting me in check for a goal I had a while ago that I forgot about. I guess they're not coming in good. Oh, I know who this is. Yeah, really not good. I feel like, if I had a beach nearby, I'd be practicing all the time.
Why not just outside on your driveway or something?
Well, first of all, I don't have a driveway.
Why not just outside on the grass or something?
I don't know. That would hurt. Everyone I see on YouTube that does it on like a mattress or something. I don't really have that. If I could somewhere I could practice, I would, but I'm too scared. I did try it once. I did really work up the courage to do it one time, and it was very bad. And I feel like if I wasn't on sand, I could have easily like cracked my neck or something.
Jesus.
So that's why I'm really scared to do it otherwise.
Okay, fair. Okay, well, there's the answer to that. Sorry.
You know what? Let's do an update like a year from now. Maybe I'll try and stick to that.
Okay, good. Quick. Next one. Someone asked for advice on giving advice. They want advice on giving advice.
Huh. Is there
So
more context?
no, just simply advice on giving advice. So regardless, I figured we could kind of dive into that a little bit.
Okay.
But
Okay. First thing I'd say is someone who I'll just try and speak from the perspective of someone who needs advice
yeah,
or like put myself in that shoe.
yep,
I think it's only really valuable if it's solicited. You know what I mean? If I come in and ask for something from a person, like, hey, I need advice on this, then it's helpful. But if I wouldn't give any unsolicited advice to people, I feel like that happens a lot. And it's just kind of like, I didn't need you to say that. Sometimes people just need to talk to you to like kind of share their thoughts and get something off their chest. They don't really need
you to
to be
respond or anything.
exactly to be like
Yeah.
taught how to do something, right?
Right. And something I also like to be mindful of when I am giving advice is I think it's really important to know the person you're giving advice to. Because you never just want to give fake advice to, appease to just what they want to hear, because you might be doing more harm than good in a situation like that. But the delivery of it based on the person, like if you need them to, if they might need you to go maybe a bit softer on them, or if they really just want you to be blunt and honest, but they just want you to, they want you to hit them with your honesty like right away. I think that also matters. If you're saying something with a tone that someone doesn't necessarily agree with, or something that doesn't work for someone, you might just lose all credibility to them, like at the very early stages of giving advice, and they will not really care to hear what you have to say beyond that point. So I would also say just know the person. Know the person well enough that you're giving advice to. Aside from that,
Interesting question.
yeah. All right, so the next question is, what is the riskiest and / or scariest moment you've had with someone while being intimate?
Oh God. I need to think about how I'm gonna say this because something came to my head, but
Okay. Well,
why don't you go first?
Yeah, I was gonna say I could take the floor for a second while you try and think that through. So, I don't know if this is by far the worst, but it's the one that came to mind right away. And it was at Hamilton, when I was living there, for school, and I had a friend over, and during a moment of intimacy, I was like, my phone was pretty much on like my nightstand beside me, and it was constantly vibrating like the whole time. And so I quickly, like, I just went to go see like what was wrong. Like I didn't want to be missing like an emergency or something. And so I was getting blown up from a group that I had for school, for like a school project, because apparently like a deadline had been pushed for something, and they wanted to like convene and get to work like on the call right away. And so I didn't want to make it apparent that like I was debating like stopping to like go work on school stuff. So like I was trying to like I was because just hearing like, of course, hearing me even say that out loud, there's so many reasons as to why I shouldn't. So execution might have been poor, but I basically tried to like multitask. And so like
What? How?
so while like nothing crazy was going on at this point, but like while continuing to like be intimate with this person that I was with, I kind of like
Sorry, can I ask real quick, what level of intimacy? Like, can you tell me a base? What base are you on?
I hate that. I hate bases.
Why?
I don't know. I just don't like using it. Like I don't. Every time someone speaks in terms of bases, I just get turned off altogether from the story.
Okay, well, you don't need to be turned on right now. It's fine.
Okay. 2, I believe. Define base 2. I want to make sure I'm on the same page here.
I guess I don't know the base system now that I say it, but I think it's more just like you guys are kind of doing more than kissing, but
not like full
not
on.
like anything explicitly sexual acts. I guess it's more just kind of like touching each other up and whatnot.
Okay, so yeah, pretty much there. At this point, pretty much there. Like this is when my phone was initially blowing up. And so then essentially I was trying to multitask and take care of the situation, like think of a good excuse. I've never been more under pressure. I was trying to think of a good excuse of like why I couldn't necessarily come on at the time, because I didn't just want to say like what I was actually doing. So I was trying to do that while also like paying attention to the person I was with. And so then at that point, the moment of intimacy was kind of being turned up a notch into a bit more like explicit acts. So this is where things really went bad. So I was literally just on my phone, like my phone was in hand the whole time. And then they started calling me. And and so then of course
like, you picked up.
No way, dude. No way did I pick up. So of course at that point, like the person that I'm with is noticed. So like, oh, is everything okay? I was like, yeah, no, it's cool. I'm just like one of my friends like has like this weird issue. So like we're all just talking to each other. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. And then on the side, I messaged back. I'm like, guys, like I understand, like I'm kind of screwing the group over right now, but like I'm just in a really tough situation right now, and I'm gonna need like at least a couple of hours to like maybe get out of this, or like maybe I'll text you guys tomorrow morning. And so then at that point, like, although it seems like situation diffused, I'm just feeling like shit in my head pretty much. And like, I'm terrified that they're gonna like keep calling me, or like, I don't know, I'm gonna wake up the next morning and they'll have told the professor on me and I'm out of the group. So I'm unable to stay in the moment at that point. Then I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's not you, it's me. I can't
Oh
do this.
my god.
Yeah, I was like, I can't right now. Like I gotta deal with something here. And so she was actually pretty cool about it, and she was willing to stick around.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, she was willing to stick around.
I was thinking you were gonna be like, yeah, like babe, I think it's really hot when like you lay on top of me, like I put my laptop on like your ass. And then just like, oh, I really like when you kiss my neck, and then like you're just staring at the computer screen.
Oh god, you know what I find so intimate? Let's just like look at opposite ends of the room, but like talk to each other. And that really fucking gets me going. But at the same time, let me be on my laptop and I might take a call, but it's just so much sexier when I'm on the phone with someone while I'm doing this.
It's so hot when like we get intimate and we talk, but like, sorry, can you hold on for a second? I really quickly gotta like just write this thing.
So yeah, she was down. She's willing to stick around. And I ended up going on a call with them and working things out. And they actually felt bad that I left my quote unquote important task to go meet with them. They're like, "All right, man, you're good to go. Like, thanks for coming on." I was like, "Thank you so much. Bye." And then I went back to it. So I ended up working out. But like,
my man.
And now I regret everything. But the amount of pressure
I feel like you got out of that situation pretty good.
Yeah, 100%. But I think like the overall pressure, like at the time of like trying to multitask and like trying to perform, well, like I absolutely cannot because I'm so swamped by this thing mentally, was just so much that like my heartbeat was probably accelerating way faster than it should have. And she also probably thought like I was just nervous at that point when it was like, it's like, no, man, I am, but not because of you, with all due respect.
That's so funny.
But yeah, that's probably the biggest one for me. But I got out of it. I would say I Houdini'd it pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you did too. All right. Well, mine is I don't know exactly how I'm gonna share this while getting the phone across. I want to be open on the show, but I don't want to just. I'm gonna try and not get into the details too much. So let's just say this is my losing my virginity time, and
I've never heard this.
Both of us didn't really know what we were doing, let's just say. So there was a bit of like a concern, and so we decided to we were like, you know what, let's just be on the safe side and like get a plan B.
Right.
So but this is also around the time when like I don't know exactly what happened, but maybe while we were hooking up or something, like I don't know what happened, but maybe something brushed against my genital area or something like that, but it really started to hurt after a while. So we're walking to the convenience store, but I'm hurting so much that like it's so sensitive that I'm basically waddling like a penguin towards the store. And I'm like, it's just the most awkward thing because I'm in the store buying a plan B, and I'm like also like spread eagle practically at the cashier ordering this thing. And I was like, yep, thank you, and just try not to make eye contact with the cashier, and I just walked out of there, you know, and we did our thing, and that was it.
Was the pain still there, like when after you had gotten back? And
yeah, it probably lasted for like a couple hours.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't it might have been the first time that it happened at that point, but since then, I don't know. It was kind of like this weird thing that happened for a while where like Yeah, you ever get kicked in the nuts and it's just like this pain that just won't go away for a while?
It's like a
It
throbbing
was kind of
pain.
like that, except like it almost happened just out of the blue.
Wow. Well,
And
I mean,
yeah, pretty strange.
so she never knew then. I would imagine. It sounds like she didn't ever pick up on it.
Oh no, she definitely picked up on it. She's
Oh,
like,
really?
"Are you okay?" Yeah, I think it was pretty unavoidable by the way I was walking, and she was like, "Yeah, is something wrong with you?" I could like fully see it that way, and I'm walking like a penguin.
You just start crying, and she's like, "Oh man, this means so much to you, doesn't it?" It's like, "No, man, my balls. It's my balls."
Yeah, I was really I was dealing with two concerning things at that moment.
Wow,
Well, whatever, it all worked out. So
quite an emotional roller
that's that.
coaster. Yeah, at least it sounds like we both kind of got out of it pretty well.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, next question. If you had 10 seconds to sell yourself to the employer of your dreams in an Uber pool, knowing that these 10
So
seconds
anxious already. Oh my fucking god.
knowing that these 10 seconds would make it or break it, what would you say or do? And I fucking loved that question, and I didn't want to think about it until we were on the show, so I literally just replied, put it in my notes, and then left.
I was so anxious I barely was even listening. Wait, what am I trying to promote?
You have 10 seconds. You have 10 seconds to sell yourself to your dream employer in an Uber pool, and that's it. You have these 10 seconds to make it or break it. What do you say?
All right,
What do you
well, first of all, I put the gun that's like in my pocket and I put it next to him. I'm like, all right, motherfucker, get out of
No,
here.
you tell me. You tell me what you're thinking. I'll tell you what I do. I actually pull out my phone and look him dead in the eye and say, "Sir, I'm not going to sell you on myself. You're going to sell yourself on me." I pull out my phone, go to Spotify, and pull up this fucking podcast. I play the first 10 seconds of that question we just answered of me trying to get hard while texting a group chat, and I say, "Now what do you think, motherfucker? Do I have the job or not?"
Yeah, obviously not, you creep, right?
Of course. Absolutely, of course. Well, what do you do?
Sir, please. Oh my god, I'm actually so nervous. I hate this so much.
Okay, let's sorry, go ahead.
What? No.
I was gonna say oh god.
Okay, we can't have a podcast together, right? I hate that.
Okay, what I was going to say was maybe it would help to role play the situation. So let me be the employer in the Uber pool with you right now. Maybe that'll help you.
I just need context. Like, who are you?
I'm the employer of your dreams. Think of your dream job, your dream pay, and your dream
to have a podcast.
Okay, so I'm your employer, and I'm about to kick you off the fucking show. But if you sell me in these 10 seconds here, guess what? You've made it to the big leagues. You are the podcaster. They're actually going to rename podcasting to Danieling if you nail these 10 seconds. Impress me.
Hey, sir.
Yeah.
Why don't you? I feel like we could have a good conversation right here. Why don't we Daniel it up?
So obviously you've blown this opportunity.
I thought you were gonna respond.
I have. That was my response.
No, I thought you were gonna respond and be like, "What's that?" I'm like, oh, it could become a reality if you let me on this podcast or whatever the fuck.
Wow. Let me tell you something, sir. Wrong. Again, bad approach, bad you.
I really prefer when a lion is attacking me and I could just kill myself.
Okay. Here's what you do.
I prefer the lion scenario to this. I'd rather a lion be attacking my neck than this. This makes me more anxious.
I think I have an answer.
Okay.
I go ahead and say, sir, I understand I only have 10 seconds. And yeah, I can quickly try and cram in all my greatest accomplishments in these 10 seconds and tell you everything about me. But if you just give me one chance to get your number or something and talk to you for an extended period of time and allow you
Sorry,
to
that was 10 seconds. All right, I gotta go, man. It was good talking to you.
I'm like 10 seconds away from finishing. Just give me an extra 10, please. If you just give me one chance, one conversation outside of this one to sell you on me and show you why I'm meant for this position, you'll never regret it. And if you walk away, biggest mistake of your life. Go, get out. I don't care. You're out of time. Get out of my face. Now, what do you say to that?
I love you.
There it is. And that's how you do it.
I wasn't talking as a CEO. I was talking as myself. Next question.
Okay. I'm so sorry. I just wasn't prepared for that. We'll talk about that after, though.
Yeah, put you on your toes. You want to put me on my fucking toe. 10 questions. 10,
Okay.
10 seconds. I'm so stressed. All right,
Calm down, man.
do you have a less stressful question?
I do. This one's about me, actually.
Okay, awesome.
So I'm going to start by asking you, what do you think of agendas? Using a daily planner to kind of go about your business and keep things in order. Because you know what? I'll just give you context. The question was, why does Kunal hate agendas? Because I do. I absolutely hate them. I think they're such a fucking pointless waste of time.
As in, like, setting up your day or
Actually,
whatever, or your week and having things to do? Like
yes.
a to-do list?
Yes, but not in the sense of like, I don't think it's worth putting your thoughts down and creating a to-do list. I do think that's very useful, and I personally do that. But there's the person who asked this, I know very well, and this individual puts in so much time and effort to like color code the pages and all that, and like if that's therapeutic and all that, like, and that helps, that's great. But I'm saying the overall concept of agendas, we have reminder apps, notes apps, we can self-text, schedule text to ourselves, and you still buy an agenda and use that paper for that situation.
Well, I think there's something nice about, because we have so many reasons to be on our phone, and there's so many different distractions. Even if, like, I find half the time I go on my phone, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to check something. And then I have all these like notifications and different things that I end up getting distracted, and suddenly I'm like watching a YouTube video. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I came on here to Google search this one thing, right? Fair. So I think I take the opportunities to take myself away from that. And I don't have an agenda personally, but if I did, I'd probably use it on paper, just because it's kind of nice to have something separate that you can keep in check. That's not like another reason for you to go check your phone.
Right. Okay, so let me tell you why I was so aggressive in that delivery and sounded so unnecessarily brutal towards agendas. I have personally started using one over the past little bit. They gave me one at work, and I've been using it. And then when I got this question yesterday, it reminded me that I used to be on the other end of the spectrum, and I did a 180, and I started using them consistently, and I just didn't know how to feel about it. So I figured I'd come out here guns ablaze and try and make you hate them. And all you did was feed it. So I guess so I agree with you.
You're blowing up right now. You're past your old self.
I guess this is just me kind of showing that I'm willing to grow and open my mind to new things and have my perspective completely changed. And that's why you should hire me, sir. That's why.
My God.
Mm-hmm.
That was so much more than 10 seconds.
Did you see? Fuck. Okay, great. We got a couple more. Let's
do it.
Let's burn through this one here, this might be something we've kind of already talked about before to an extent, but aspirations for the next 5 years. And I'm going to leave this one open-ended. It can be about anything. It could be literally about your job and just where you want to be. It could be about podcasting even. It could be literally about anything, but some form of an aspiration 5 years from
now. 5 years from now, what am I, 28?
No, you're not. You're 23. Oh, did you mean what will you be 5 years from now? Okay, well, maybe say that next time. Go ahead. Floor is yours.
Is it? Or are you going to interrupt me and say something dumb again? Fucking so good.
Floor is yours. Anyway. I'm so angry. Floor is yours.
You don't need to say that, right? Like, you don't need to say it. Okay.
Well, clearly you're unable to identify the fact that it is. So the floor is yours.
So when I'm 28, right?
You have my permission.
Basically, I think the next 5 years of my life, I just want to be doing a lot of different things and experiencing as much as possible. But when I'm 28 is around the time where I kind of want to be really fully know myself at this point and sort of have what I'm going to be doing long term, like set up for myself. You know, right. What I'm doing in my career, like, I've sort of been building the foundation for that, but now like it's really going like, this is what I'm going to be doing. And even in stuff I'm doing in my free time or whatever, extracurricular activities like volunteering, all that other stuff, even where I'm living is like, I'm probably going to start to, okay, it's time to get serious and like settle down and be at a certain place in my life. Like not with just in anything, career, relationships, where am I going to be living? Who am I going to be spending time with? That sort of thing.
Right.
So I guess not really specific.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, actually, my answer would be pretty similar. I think for me right now, still being in school, I'm currently working a job, which I really feel like I've been enjoying, but it's not, it doesn't encompass everything I've been learning in school. So I think it's like there's kind of like an identity thing there. Okay, like this is something that I enjoy, but maybe I'll also enjoy something a little bit more tailored to my program. And um,
Did you really
even
feel that though? Because me coming out of school, like I felt for a really long time that because I was in the program, like I basically made a decision in high school that set me up to be in this program for a really long time. And because I didn't really figure out something else I wanted to do passionately, I kind of stayed with it.
right,
But it took me a long time to figure out that it's not the core of what I was doing in my program isn't necessarily what I want to do long term. So
right,
I felt pigeonholed for a long time, and um, it's really freeing now to think that even though I spent a lot of time doing this, it's not a huge waste of my life if I try and do something different and I try and go in a different area that I like.
yeah,
So like learning that coming out of school was really like freeing for me. So I mean, unless you're saying that because you're like, I want to do something more in tune with my program because that's really what I love to do. I don't think you have to be in that space where it's
no,
like, oh, the job I'm doing now isn't that related.
yeah, and it's definitely not that. I think for the core of my program, like, I mean, it's cool, but I'd be okay with like finding a separate career path outside of that. But it's like I'm also kind of in this weird state of like, well, am I positive about that? Like I've never tried it, and I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure if I
Right.
tried it, I wouldn't really love it. But that's the thing. I'm in this weird phase of like keeping all these doors open, which I don't think is a bad thing
Right.
necessarily.
No, I
But
think that's a great thing. Like,
right, but
yeah, to our point is sorry, yeah, why don't you say it? I
no,
know
no,
what
no,
you're
no,
saying.
no. Go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah, just like keeping the opportunities open right now and that maybe we don't exactly know what we're gonna be doing long term. So that's why we're kinda keeping the doors open and trying new things.
exactly,
But
exactly. And
there
so I
is gonna
think
be a day when you're like, no, this is my shit and you're gonna
right,
stick with it,
and I
right?
and I think that's pretty much kind of what I'm getting to with my answer here is like, so 5 years from now, I think it'd be fucking awesome to know what that thing is and be actively doing
Yeah,
it. Like I'll be a
absolutely.
year deep into it or something like that. Like I'll be knee deep in it, and I know that I like it, and and I know that this is something that I want to do moving forward. And even if, or it can even be like I know what that thing is. Maybe I'm not currently doing it, but I've identified it, and now I know what I'm going for. Like I know that this is the end game, and it's not like keeping all these doors open. Oh, maybe something related to my program, or maybe something related to that one job that I had. I know what it is, and
Mhm.
ideally I have it, and I that identity thing no longer exists for me. Like I've figured it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. That I felt, but I wasn't able to put it into words until now, which is basically like I'm enjoying the freedom of kind of not knowing. Like before, it used to give me a lot of anxiety, but now I'm kind of embracing the fact that I don't really know exactly, what I want to be, I as an identity, as what I do long term, as who I am, sort of thing. And I'm kind of enjoying the fact that I'm kind of free and I get to do whatever I want. But there is going to be a point where in a satisfied way where I can kind of go like, oh, I've been there, I've done that, I've tried this, and I know who I am, and I'm not that, I'm this, and
Right.
I double down on that. I think there's going to be a time for that where that's going to be awesome.
Agreed.
This is so cool because I think, sorry, to go back to your question before about what's my favorite thing about the podcast, I think it's
Yeah.
this stuff because this is stuff that I actually think, but because I've never talked about it, I've never actually been able to materialize it and really understand what it means. Like
Mhm.
on Sid's episode, I mean, I talked about being, being insecure about feeling like a kid, which is true to an extent, and I've had moments where I felt that. But I think what I realized from actually talking about it and then reflecting on it is that, wow, I'm actually insecure about being immature. Like that's what I really learned from that, because to me, an insecurity is something that if you're called out on or if someone brings that up, like it hurts to hear that.
Yeah, it's a
And I
yeah.
think like if someone called me out on having acne or whatever the beard thing that I said, I wouldn't actually care. It wouldn't hurt my feelings at all. Even though
Right.
I would rather not have acne, right?
Right, right.
But I wouldn't be insecure about that. But I think, and part of the reason I'm so hard on myself about the show and critiquing the way I'm swearing and all that stuff is
Mhm.
because if I'm not conducting myself in a way that's mature, it hurts to hear that I'm being immature. If you told me like, "Hey, man, you sounded really immature when you said that," or
Yeah,
that joke was really immature, and like, you should use a head, sort of thing, that would really hurt my feelings.
I see.
So yeah, that's something
Yeah,
interesting
that
that
no, that's
I never realized before that episode.
well, yeah, I mean, again, and I mean, no reason not to bring it back to what we talked about at the top. This is again like this is what we were going for here, and we've had friends reach out to us who we haven't seen in a while, whether due to this whole quarantine, obviously, but also just when we were able to see each other, we just never really got the timing right. And now we've had friends like that reach out to us, and it almost feels like they're connected to us again, like we're chatting again, they know
Yeah.
about us again, and that's simply just by listening through this. And again, I agree with what you said. Sometimes some of the things we're going to talk about on the show that we've already talked about and we're going to continue to talk about, they might be thoughts that you've had in the back of your head, like Govin said, like those shower thoughts that just hit differently, but you've never actually gone out and formulated that into actual words and had a conversation about it. And so
Yeah.
it's still a little dodgy and foggy to try and think through all that. But the more we do this and kind of keep this dialogue open for ourselves and for the people we bring on, I think it's overall there's no harm that can come out of this. I hope so, unless someone leaves the studio crying one day and never wants to come back on the show. But
Cut to the FBI just like using this all as evidence for some fucked up shit.
It all started
in 10 years.
It all started with that guy on that podcast saying he'd kill someone in front of a line, where it all went south for him. I regret that so much. Like, I sounded so wrong. Well, that was good. I think this is a good spot to leave off on. This was nice. I enjoy doing this, but please, if you hated what we just did and like you prefer we have guests on, please do not hesitate to let us know. These are all levels of feedback that we want to receive. We really love that open dialogue. So again, on that note, any other feedback you might have for us, for the show, for just how we are in general, for what we've been doing so far with the guests, and kind of what you think at this little quarter point that we're at right now, we would love to. I don't know why I said quarter, but at this point that we're at right now, we would absolutely love to hear that.
I'm gonna quit in like 3 weeks.
We would love.
I can't do math, but still.
We would absolutely love to hear that. Again, you can send us a message on our Instagram. It's imrt.podcast now. You could send us a message individually, shoot us a text. Daniel's phone number is 905-116. And also you can email us at dan.and.canal@gmail.com.
Sorry, what was that? I didn't really hear that.
dan.and.canal@gmail.com. I'm just going to say Dan and Canal with dots in between the fuck, no, that's more words.
Is that even better? Yeah, I don't know.
No, it's not. dan.and.canal@gmail.com. Again, you can also use those two handles to send us any questions you'd have for the show. We absolutely love the listener questions. So keep sending them in. If you'd like to be on the show, we already have so many people that have reached out, and we are only looking to expand that list. We absolutely love it. We get extremely giddy when people reach out and ask to be on the show. So feel free to make my day or disappointment by not messaging me after you hear this. Thank you so much once again for listening to another episode.
Sorry, you told all these people to fuck off in the beginning, right?
I think this episode helped me grow, and I've changed since then. Daniel, any closing thoughts?
No, not really. Just I love everyone. Thanks for listening, and thanks for sending in questions. Thanks for giving us feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Means a lot.
And I would just like to say I also love everyone, but a bit more than how much Daniel does. And
Yeah.
I thank you, but a bit more than how much Daniel thanks you. And just, thanks so much. I'll say it twice. So Daniel, you're good. You don't need to say anything else. Thank you so much for listening to yet another episode of the I May Regret This podcast, and we will see you next week.
I don't wanna see you pull up, it's a hectic scene. I don't wanna see you, me and Govy on the beat. What you mean? We gon' win. We be zooming through the cities on the west side, yeah.
Rest in peace to this beat, not tryna flex. RKO to the rest.